Hey guys, what's going on? It's Taylor Smith here with you today, and I want to show you guys how to buff your car out. I actually use a three-step process of compound polish and hand wax, and I'll show you the machine buffer I use and the actual process of how to get a really good deep shine out of the paint job on your car. So stay tuned and we'll get rolling on the work. So here's the first step. This is the compound that I'm going to be using. It's called Ultra Cutting Cream by Presta. I used to use 3M products for the cutting, but they made a lot of dust and it just made a mess. So I tried to go with this and it's so far working pretty good. The next step here is the polish. I still do use 3M polish on the car, so this is our second step. The part number on that is 05996, and this does a really good job, especially on a black car like we'll be doing today. And then lastly, this is the Carnauba hand wax I use. It's by Meguiar's, and they do sell this at O'Reilly's, Napa, all the major auto parts stores. So those are the three products. And then here is the buffer I'll be using. This is just a pretty simple Craftsman buffer with a foam pad on it. I got this for like 75 bucks at Sears a while back, and it does have variable RPMs, so you can turn it up or down based upon your comfort level with buffing. So let's get started. Here's the car we'll be working on, and from here in the shade, it doesn't look too bad, but when you get up close, it has a lot of marks in the paint. There's even some oxidation in these body lines here and just a lot of overall surface scratching. The guy that I bought this from really kind of neglected this car, and you can kind of see it in the paint here. It's just so scratched, really heavy marks throughout. So we'll have this car looking pretty good by the end of the day here. Here's some more stuff here. You can see hand marks and really just a lot of scratching. So this is a surefire way to get the scratches out of your paint job. Guys, so when you come over to a body line like this where the door opens, just stop right at the edge. Don't go past it, because that's how you end up getting a lot of compound into the body line there in the crack of the door. And then you might even burn the edge of the paint there on the door. So you want to be careful to just stop right there. You always want to stop before you reach a hard line in the car. And then for instance, down here where the wheel lip opens, don't bring it up too high on its edge. The more that you bring this buffer up on its edge is basically going to raise the odds of you burning the paint. So keep this as flat as you can at all times while you're going through and buffing your car the first time around. Here's the first step. We're going to do just a couple of dots of this compound on the car. You can be very sparing with it. A little bit goes a long way. Otherwise you'll make a mess putting too much on there. So we're going to get right into it now. Guys, one thing I forgot to mention is that you do want to wash the car before you get started. You definitely want to get all of the contamination off the paint. You may even want to use a clay bar if you've got a lot of tree sap and little contaminants like that on the paint. This car didn't have it, so I just did a quick hand wash, but you do want to make sure all the dust is off of it, because clean surface is the best surface for doing this. Okay, so just for an example, I just did this part from the roof line down to this middle body line, all the way down past the window. And I don't know if you can see, you can tell that this paint, that's not dust, that's actually the metallic in this paint. And it's got a lot more depth now after doing the compound on that for just about 5 minutes. So that's just a good example of what the compound does. And as you can see here, the scratches that I showed you are now gone. There's a little bit of swirl in here from using the compound since it's the abrasive. And most of these surface scratches will actually go away once we start using the actual polish and wax. But this is just a good indicator to show you exactly what that compound does. And we are going to move on. I'm going to do a time lapse of doing the whole side of the car with the compound, and then we'll get into the next steps. So stay tuned. All right, guys, well, we got a third of the work done, so this is what the car looks like. It's still a mess. I've got the dust all over it from the compound, but we have to do that whole process over again with the polish, and I know you guys don't really want to see that again because that's boring, so we will just do this. Okay, guys, here's the car completely polished out. I know we don't have direct sunlight anymore at this point in the day, but you can see just in those reflections there in the paint, it is pretty much crystal clear. You can see the roof of my house in it, it's so shiny. And move along here, I'll show you some of those problem areas from before. The scratches from earlier in the morning there are all completely gone. And just a super deep shine off of this. See the reflection of the sky through it. I actually did have to wash the car again because it had gotten so much dust on it from cutting it. That new stuff that I used ended up still being about as dusty as the old 3M stuff. So probably not much difference between the two products actually, but overall I'm pretty happy with the work today. The more I think about it, I probably could have even wet sanded this car just to get a few more of the little deeper surface scratches out, but I quite frankly just didn't have time for it. But there's the car polished, and now we'll move on to the wax. So here's an applicator pad you'll want to use with your wax. So I just went and picked up one of those at O'Reilly's, and then just to remove the wax when you're done, this is a nice soft old shirt that I had, so that'll do the job for the removal of the wax. And just for example, to start, you really only need about that much wax on your applicator. You can probably get a quarter panel of the whole car done with that little bit there. So I'm going to get right into it, and I'll show you guys the car when it's completely waxed up. Well, guys, I'm sorry. It ended up getting a little dark on me, but you can see the car here. It cleaned up really well. And I did slam it down on my suspension for you so you can see it all the way low. The car has a pretty good look, but this paint came out probably better than I expected. It just super straight all the way down the side. Really nice reflections off the car at night right now. Hopefully you can see a little bit on the camera. But much sharper looking than it looked this morning, and I'll show you a quick demonstration. I'll dump some water on it just so you can see how much the water beads up off of this wax job. Guys, you can see that water just runs right off of there. It's literally just beads up and falls to the ground. So that is one good reason to wax your car. You can just see it just runs right off of the paint. Well, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more automotive content like you saw today. I often do how-tos, mechanical work. This summer I'll be doing racing, we'll be going out in the boat, and it's going to be a fun time on the channel this year, so stay tuned for more action. But for today, this is Taylor Smith signing off, and I'll see you guys next video.